Hi, I'm Jim Gordon.
I'm Lita Leapins.
And welcome to another edition of Our City Tonight.
Oh, we're here at the 46th Annual Vancouver International Wine Festival. Hence, we have wine in front of us.
And the crowd's behind us, pretty busy. Lita, I didn't realize this until you told me, but this is actually one of the biggest wine festivals on the planet.
It might be the biggest.
Wow. Well, a couple episodes ago, we had the executive director, Harry CHEK, on our show, as we always do, but we're going to talk to him here on location after you watch this. Well, this gentleman was on our show last month as a preview to the Vancouver International Wine Festival. We never kick off on location without him. Going to this big camera right here, the executive director of the wine festival, Harry CHEK, is back with us. Harry, welcome again.
Thank you very much. You mentioned international and hosting the world. This year, 120 wineries from 15 countries. But I want to remind ourselves that we are a homegrown, made in Canada International Wines Festival, where in Vancouver, we welcome the wine world, wherever they might be. Cowichan Valley, Okanagan Valley, Pacific Rim, Europe, stateside, Washington, California, Oregon.
Yeah.
Wherever people come from, they're staying in our hotels, eating in our restaurants. Mm-hmm. We love our hospitality. People are welcome in Vancouver, and what a welcoming experience it is in this tasting room with 2,000 people enjoying wine.
Yeah.
It is, and it's a family of wines. That's what we always know. Every year we come here, it is like a United Nations. It's fantastic, and you put this all together. This is the 46th annual. Tell us anything special that stands out this year at this wine festival?
The thing that stands out in my mind is what I call the aha moment. You don't know when it's going to happen.
Right.
Is it a sip of wine? Is it a conversation we have with someone? I just had a wine and food pairing lunch at Vancouver Community College,
Nice.
where we engage the students, the next generation in wine and food pairings for a lunch for 80 people.
Wow.
And just the energy in that room of student chefs and student servers learning about wine and food pairings with winemakers from up and down the coast. To me, that was a aha moment. And to me, that's more important than how many wines did you taste or what. But it's like that Christmas dinner you never forget, or going to Disneyland for the first time, or whatever it is. To me, that's what's special.
You actually do something, you've brought this up before to us and to our viewers about, you sample the wines, but if I leave here with 2 or 3 of those, oh my God, I've never heard of this wine before, but I love it, moments, that's what I always take away from these festivals.
And when that moment happens, you're looking at the winemaker, the owner, in the eyes, who's traveled here all the way from Greece or Hungary or from wherever. They're bringing their family, their passion, their story to Vancouver. And you get to connect with them on a personal level, try their wine. And we're already looking forward to next year. I can't even believe that. How can that be?
Yeah.
And speaking of next year, can you do the reveal for us? What is the theme?
Well, the theme is really important. It's about a third of the wineries. You know, it's still an international festival. Look, we are excited to announce in 2026 that the theme country will be France.
Oh my, excellent.
People love French wines.
Yes. Yes, I heard that, yes.
Good thing I don't like champagne.
Oh, that's funny, yeah. Oh, that's amazing. What are people saying, too, that you've been talking to? We're here on a Saturday, we're here on Friday, but I said to you earlier, the doors opened at 2:30 for the public, and at 2:38, it was full.
People aren't usually on time in Vancouver.
Not in Vancouver, no.
But they do come on time for the Vancouver International Wine Festival because you want to savor every moment. And what is unique is that whatever event you go to at the wine festival, whether it's here in the tasting room or at a lunch or a seminar at a dinner, the person speaking to the wine is the owner or winemaker.
Yeah.
So it's that personal connection, that story behind the wine that you get to connect with. And why would you shortchange yourself by being late? That just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't. No.
You need every single moment.
Yeah, it's nice because we always have interviews here at the festival where we're talking to the person whose name is on the bottle.
I love that.
I always love that, yeah. More information, Harry, throughout the year, because you're working round the clock throughout the year. Where can people find out more information? Your website is?
vanwinefest.ca. Our handle is vanwinefest. And our dates are a little later next year,
Oh,
so I
okay, do
should
tell.
give people the heads up. It's right before spring break. It's March 7th to 15th. And we're going to do this all over again
Excellent.
in March of next year.
Word has it that this is, you as a couple, your first wine festival here in Vancouver, the first Vancouver International Wine Festival attendance.
That is true. We have been all over the world. We've been to Venice. We've been all over, Italy, tasting wines. That's fantastic, but nothing quite like this. This is incredible. I am not the quintessential enophile, but I am a lover of wine. I just don't happen to be a connoisseur of wine. Maybe by the end of today I will be,
This is the 46th annual Vancouver International Wine Festival. I hear that this is not your first rodeo.
I have been here a number of times over the last 20 years, and today is one of the best.
Yeah. No, so any standouts today, any countries that really stand out for you?
Well, I love the Spanish wines, and there are 4 fantastic wineries here. I also love Justin Vineyards from Paso Robles, and I'm looking for the Argentinian wines as I plan a trip there soon.
Great. We are now joined by Ray Signorello. Did I say that properly?
You got it right.
Oh, good. Well, it is synonymous with great wine. And Ray is here to talk a little bit about his very famous winery. And I'm going to get him to talk about the history. Now, the last time you were on our show was back in 2019. That was a lot of fun. But for any of the folks that haven't seen that episode, we'd love to fill them in just a little bit about that winery.
Sure. Well, I've been to many wine festivals. Actually, my very first wine festival was back in the 80s.
Wow.
And I've been to every one since. So a long history here. There's a lot happening at my winery over the last few years with, obviously we lost our winery in the 2017 fires.
Yes.
And we embarked on a long rebuild. It was originally going to take 6 years. That was the plan, and we ended up completing it in 6.5 years.
Oh, wow.
So nothing happens quickly in Napa Valley.
No, well, but congratulations on getting everything organized again. And like you said, there's some new things happening there. There's always great wines being produced there. Can you share a little bit what's happening right now?
Yeah, I have 4 different brands. So we focus on Cabernet. I do make a little bit of Chardonnay as well. The 4 brands would be Trim Wines, Edge Wines, S Wines, and the Signorello Estate.
Yes, which we have in front of us here. And I am going to, you have already wonderfully poured a glass. Tell our viewers a little bit about this wine.
So this is a wine, as you can see, it says Signore on the label. So Signore is an Italian word that means gentleman. The wine is very elegant, and that's the idea. So it comes from a very particular part of our estate, cooler part of the estate temperature-wise. And we keep this separate and bottle it up and call it Signore.
Well, it is absolutely delicious. Again, you have many wines in your portfolio. Definitely this one is the crowning gem, I guess, for you guys.
We also make a wine called Padrone, which is a tribute to my father. So that's the counterpart to this. Padrone is kind of more of the power wine, and this is more of the elegant Cabernet.
Very nice. Now, established, you bought the land in 1977 and then produced the first wine in 1985, if I'm correct?
That's correct. You have
Great.
a great memory.
Well, well, it's so great to have you back on the show, and good luck with all the new stuff. Good luck with all the new build, and we look forward to keep trying all the new wines that come from your great winery.
Appreciate having me here.
Thanks,
Thank
Ray.
you.
This segment is brought to you by Gekkeikan, Japan's finest sake, family owned and operated in Kyoto since 1637.
Well, here at the Vancouver Wine Festival, which includes sake.
Indeed it does.
And I am privileged to be here with Mark Zan-Garrett, who is the VP of Sales and Marketing for a very excellent sake company. I'm going to try this, the
Go
House
for
of
it.
Gekkeikan.
Very good.
Can you say it properly?
Yes, it's Gekkeikan.
Gekkeikan. Okay, so there you have it. Established in 1637, I know that much, and we're just going to throw it over to Mark to talk about sake, because I know there's a huge interest. There's been a huge increase in consumption. So you can explain that to our viewers.
Yeah, so sake's been around for a long time, like 2,000 years. In its current form, maybe about 800 years, and our company's been around for about nearly 400 of those.
Wow.
It's still a family-owned company. I'm not part of the family, but
Could be.
we're on the 14th generation head of the family now that's leading the company. And we're in Japan and in Kyoto, and we're in California in the United States.
And you've brought some really interesting ones for us to talk about today, but let's talk a little bit about sake in general, because I know we had talked earlier and you said COVID actually was an interesting time for sake sales.
Indeed. I think it was a lot of people reaching out and trying new things. Okay, I'm cooped up at home, want to try something new. What about sake? You know, I know my wine, let's try something different. And I think a lot of people out there are really interested in Japanese food, Japanese culture, Asian culture in general. And I think sake just is part of that. And so we're definitely seeing a bit of an uptick, especially in recent years, of people who are just wanting to try it, but really struggling to get that access and that opportunity and the knowledge to try it.
I think it's the knowledge, because people will go to their favorite Japanese restaurant and try it, but the courage to actually go and buy a bottle with knowledge, and that's part of what you're doing with us today.
Exactly.
Is giving us a little bit more knowledge. So why don't we talk about these ones, the first two here.
Yeah, so these are actually both from our plant in California. So we make them in California, Californian rice, all the water, all the processes are all the same, but we've just transplanted all that culture and tradition from Kyoto, and we've brought that to California to make sake for North America, really, yeah.
Perfect.
And so we have slightly different, slightly unconventional, slightly modern types of sake that we make in California, because that's kind of what we feel like the North American consumer who might not have that much experience drinking sake. They're more used to drinking beer or wine. We try to lean them a little more that way, a little more sugar, a little more acid, because that's kind of what they're used to in their usual beverage of choice.
That's interesting. Now, you have poured us some of your favorite.
Yes.
This one here, and then lastly, we'll talk about the Japanese one.
Yeah, so this is haiku. It's probably one of my favorite. It's got a lovely tropical nose on it, and then it's very juicy. It's got a little more sugar, very refreshing. So this one can be served really, really nice and chilled.
Wow.
I hope that was a good reaction.
That was a very good reaction. I've not tasted anything like that. That's delicious.
And yeah, so we think this would really appeal to white wine drinkers who are, we're trying to make the label a little more approachable, less scary, less intimidating, because I think a lot of people come into sake thinking, oh, I got to study up on the terminology. I got to know this, I got to know that. And really, I'm going to ask you one question. Did you like it?
Yes.
And that's all that really matters at the end of it, doesn't it?
What also matters at the end of it too is the fact is we had talked that you tend to not get a hangover by drinking sake.
Always drink in moderation, of course.
Yes,
Drink plenty of water. But sake is a very, very pure beverage. It's made from rice. It's made from water. Those are the two real core ingredients. And there's no sulfites. There's no gluten. It's generally very light and easy on the body. And so we do think that people anecdotally say, I can only have 2-3 glasses of wine, but sake, it feels a lot lighter on the body. So we seem to be getting a few customers who are trying to lean that direction and enjoying sake as a result.
But we appreciate the public service announcement too. Let's talk about the Japanese one, the style.
So this one is called Horin. It's our flagship premium sake from Japan. It's been around in one form or another for about 150 years. A very storied brand for Gekeka and the company. And it really is a unique sake. It's an excellent example of the Junmai Daiginjo style of sake. Very, very big fruity aromas on the nose, and then lots of that savory umami flavor profile that sake is so known for. And so it makes it both delightful to drink on its own, but also very food friendly for a wide variety of cuisines and dishes, not just Japanese food.
Oh, well, that's great. And I can tell that from having a sip of that. And we're going to end on Whistler. There's an interesting little rumor going around that Whistler was one of the biggest consumers of sake.
Yeah, seems like Whistler has a taste for sake. They know what's up. I think maybe after a cold, chilly day on the slopes, you come in and have some warm sake, and that really helps to get you settled in for the night or whatever. But yeah, there's a big market in Whistler. We seem to have a lot of demand there, which is great. Trying to put sake in these spaces that you don't normally expect to see sake. It's wonderful to see.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's definitely a great new drink to try for those that haven't tried. You've got lots of options with the House of Gekkeikan. Gekkeikan. Oh, see, well, I'll have to practice a few more times. Thanks, Mark. You're very kind and gentle on me. Definitely check them out. There's a website.
Yes, there is. Gekkeikan.com.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thanks so much for great knowledge, and thanks for the excellent new introduction.
Kanpai.
Kanpai.
This segment is brought to you by Gekkeikan, Japan's finest sake, family owned and operated in Kyoto since 1637. Well, like a lot of people in Vancouver, the Lower Mainland, and this province, we wake up with this woman every day. Now, hang on. Let's go to the main shot so you can see what the joke was. There we are. We had you going there. Exactly. Of course, we wake up with this woman every morning. She's the host of CTV Morning Live, Monday through Friday. Back joining us again after a little break from our show, Carrie Adams. Welcome back.
Thank you so much. Well, thanks for clarifying that. I don't want people talking.
I wanted to tease the audience for just a few seconds, but
us TV people are very close.
Very close.
You have been hosting the morning show for 11 years, and I have to specify now, 2 years on your own solo.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your lifestyle. You don't have to get into
Oh my gosh.
Well,
My lifestyle.
You are my hero because you still have a life. We end up going to some functions with you, and I'm like, how is she up still?
Yeah, and to be clear, I don't always stay up late.
No.
But I feel like once you kind of get into the groove of working on a morning show, you have an internal alarm clock. Like I think that I would, even if I didn't set my alarm for 2:40 a.m., I know, that I would probably still wake up within an hour of that because of my body clock. And I like fun, so if I'm going to a function, I don't want to miss out, so I'll stay as long as I can, and then I do get back home so I can dive into bed and try and look like I'm alert in the morning.
You do, and you look amazing too. I know I couldn't do that.
Well, and what's interesting, I mean, I've worked with you over the years, so I could be accused of being biased, but one of the things I've always found interesting about doing a morning show hosting job is that it really is different from everybody else. If you're anchoring, nothing against the anchors, they do a great job, but you can go from talking about something very serious on your show, and because you're the solo host, you can go from that to having fun with pies or something like that. I mean, it's a real cross section each day, and I'm sure that's part of why you love the job, because it's always something different, even down to the hour with each morning show.
Oh, for sure. I love delivering the news of the day. I love being able to say good morning to people and telling them what's happening in the world. But I also like having the chats with my co-hosts, Mark and Mona. We have a great time. I love doing the cooking segments, interviews. We have the SPCA on regularly. There's always cute puppies or kittens in the studio. So I feel like there is such a variety. And that is one of the great things about working a morning show.
You are a recipient of Jack Webster Award.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us a little bit about that, because you're not just behind the desk. You used to be right out there in the fray.
Yes, I was a field reporter for many years. I mean, most reporters and people who are anchors started out as field reporters. That's sort of the progression. So with January 2005, it was the North Vancouver mudslide. A woman died when a slide came down. It took out her home. And our coverage that day led to an award. I was one of the 4 journalists at CTV that shared that award for Best News Reporting. It was a heart-wrenching story with a lot of angles to that to cover, but and live reporting is something that I really enjoyed back in the day, is being on location and reporting live from the scene. There's something about the immediacy of that. And I guess that's why I enjoy anchoring live TV as well, is because you are on the spot and this is what's happening right now. So how you handle it is so important.
How have you found, I mean, we've all been in the business a long time, the landscape really has changed dramatically. We were just talking about before coming on camera that when we're all at events together, more her than me because I'm the old guy, but there's also a lot of social media stuff that I see the both of you doing when we're at events together. You don't want to give away too much of your personal life, but that's part of what you have to do now. And there's a whole bunch of other things too. I mean, talk about the early days when you got in. All this stuff was not around.
No, there was no social media, and it was quite refreshing, actually.
Yeah, I was going to say.
The good old days.
Do your job and then go home. That's all you have to do.
Right. I mean, there has been so much that's changed. I'm trying to think back to when did I get into the business. I was working in Edmonton. I went to NATE, and it was the early 90s. So my first reporter job was in probably 95. Moved to Red Deer in 97. I was shooting my own material. I had a camera on my shoulder. For 2 years, I was driving around central Alberta covering stories, everything from politics to agriculture, and then back to Edmonton. Live reporting was just coming out at that time. We were just seeing the emergence of that. That was exciting times. But yeah, social media wasn't part of it. That sort of need to sort of self-promote as you go and to be seen and be at functions. And I think that people who do it today, they can appreciate that, yes, it gives you an element of promotion. You can tell people what you're doing before they get to see it on TV.
I guess if people see you in their homes every day, there is a expectation of, hey, Carrie, best friends.
Yeah, you know, I value that people sometimes follow me just on social media and don't actually watch the show. Well, though I don't know why they're not watching the show.
Doesn't make any sense to us.
But there's people who actually have not actually seen me on TV, but they still follow me. So there's two audiences there, and you know, in many cases, obviously they merge, but it's interesting.
We got to ask you about your early beginnings.
Yes. Which we're kind of poking at the cheerleaders.
The cheerleaders,
yes. Revisit that lately.
Edmonton Elks now, but they were
Yes.
called the Eskimos at that time. Edmonton football team.
Tell us.
That was your early days in the spotlight.
You know, I was a cheerleader with the CFL for, what years? It was before broadcasting. So I did it out of high school. I was a cheerleader in high school, competitive cheerleader, and that's what we did. What else are we gonna do? We're not done cheerleading, so we joined the CFL team. And it was so fun. I did it for 4 years. We traveled. We came out here for Grey Cup one year to Vancouver. That was probably my first experience in Vancouver as an adult and thinking, this is a cool place to live. And cheer all the CFL games. It was a lot of fun. And more recently came back to that to be part of the CFL alumni now. So in my 50s, I can still call myself a CFL cheerleader. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Good for you.
Hey, let's go out on a philosophical note. Let's go back and talk to yourself 30 years ago. What are you saying?
Oh, myself 30 years ago.
Outside of you buying Microsoft and all the usual stuff that you would say.
Gosh, if only, right? I would have taken more risks.
Okay.
I think that when you're starting your career or starting your life as a young adult, you question yourself. And to be honest, I still question myself all the time. You don't really outgrow that. At least I haven't. I'm still trying to get there. But I would say to take more risks, to find the happiness, to do the things that give you joy. And don't question whether you can do it, because you can. You just have to take the steps. Yeah. Take more risks.
Very nice.
And do your Kegels.
Wow.
I think we end on that. That sounds great.
Great advice. Hey, Carrie Adams, our old friend. I think this is your third or fourth time on the show.
This is second, actually.
No, you were on the show back.
Yes. This is my third time.
Third time. I was going to say you
At
were on the
our
red
event.
carpet years ago with Mark and a few other folks.
And we also had her at El Nido.
Wow, great memory.
Yeah.
This is
Well, that's what I was thinking of.
No, you
Yeah.
were on one other time. This is we're talking like the cameras
This is
aren't rolling
3 or 4
anymore. But you were on
Yes.
briefly in like 17 at the Wendy Cochia's winter
That's
event
right.
for autism.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Very
Good
briefly.
memory. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
But
Not really that good,
Nice.
Carrie,
4
actually,
times.
but 4
I'm a
times.
regular.
She's almost getting the blazer for a long time.
Well, it's not really the Jack Webster Award.
No, it's not. It doesn't have the
Reporting, but
prestige, but hey, it's
city tonight.
it's Carrie Adams. Watch your weekday mornings on CTV Morning Live. Carrie, thanks for joining us.
Thank
so
you.
much.
Excellent
Thank you,
to have
both
you.
of you.
Cheers.
Well, here in the Cabana Lounge and at one of our favorite restaurants, of course, Hydra, our great partners, and I am with the head guy, Executive Director of Culinary Operations. Did I get that right, Mark?
Pretty close, yeah. I like it.
Okay, well, that's now. We always talk about the great happy hour, and Jim and I have been coming for years for your happy hour, 6 years, in fact.
Vancouver's best happy hour.
It really is, and actually, you maintain it that way. You're always adding new things. And speaking of new things, we are so excited. You need to tell us, what's this all about?
We've just launched our whole fish happy hour. So Vancouver's been, an incredible market for us. We've brought live whole fresh fish to Vancouver in terms of having salt-baked or grilled fresh fish available every day. And now we're bringing it to our happy hour menu where you can try our incredible fish. Chef's choice each day, but we'll offer it at half price, especially for happy hour. So it's not just the small bites anymore. You're getting, something substantial during happy hour.
That's incredible. No one else is doing this.
No, but everyone's always looking for a deal, and especially with fresh quality product, we want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to see our signature dish and what we're about.
Yeah, you have an incredible raw bar. I remember Jim and I being here. We filmed you cutting. You actually had just received a big halibut. We're going to show a little picture here of that, of you cutting up this halibut. Always great fresh fish. And where do you get this fish?
This is our sea bass, and it's actually flown in fresh from the Mediterranean each week.
Oh my God.
The fish display, our ice bar, has fish from around the world. Typically, Mediterranean fish is sort of our mainstay, being a Greek Mediterranean restaurant.
Perfect.
But we do have local fish like the halibut, as well as fish from Japan, from New Zealand, from the States. Just really the best of what's available in the ocean and sustainable.
Yeah, and we've got to mention that their regular happy hour is still going strong. The oysters are probably one of my absolute favorites. So if you haven't tried happy hour at Hydra, this is your sign to do this. Thanks, Mark. It's always so great to have you on the show. Don't be a stranger. You haven't been on for a while.
Yeah, thanks.
Closed captioning and other promotional considerations provided by Hamilton High Street Senior Residence, Richmond's newest senior living community.
Well, we're back here where we started the show at the Vancouver International Wine Festival.
Thank you for watching today. It is time to go, but before we leave, don't forget you can check out our website, lots of past episodes, a whole lot more, ourcitytonighttv.com. You can also contact us, info@ourcitytonighttv.com.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun gallery pictures of what we're up to.
That's right. Anyway, we'll see you next time. I'm Jim Gordon.
I'm Lita Leapins.
Thanks for watching Our City Tonight.
You can contact us and watch past episodes at ourcitytonighttv.com. The Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.